So it says, Samaria shall become desolate, king of Assyria, for she has rebelled against her power. They shall fall by the sword. Their infants shall be dashed in pieces, and their women with child shall be ripped up. So this was what the Lord told Hosea, this is going to happen to the northern kingdom. Now remember what we just read here, right? They were taken out by the king of Assyria. They never went back to the land of Israel, as you see down here, right? The cities of Israel were filled with strangers, and the king of Assyria brought men from Babylon and Cutar and Avar and Hamath and from Seraphim and placed them in the cities of Samaria instead of the children of Israel, and they possessed Samaria that dwelt in those cities, right thereof. So the king of Assyria put his people in Samaria, in the northern kingdom, and replaced them, all right? So instead of the children of Israel, just like it's showing you here. So the Lord said they're going to fall by the sword, their infants shall be dashed to pieces, and their women with child shall be ripped up. Stay with me. I'm going to show you something. Stay with me, all right? So what did Moses say? Moses said this, all right? Moses said, because these are all part of the curses. I'm going to show you something. You want to know if this Bible is telling you the truth, prophecy? I'm going to show you something. Moses says this, but it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy power, to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command you this day, then all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee, meaning follow you everywhere you go. All right? All of the curses in Deuteronomy 28 and everywhere else in the Bible, the Lord says will happen to you. So when the Lord said to prophet Hosea that Samaria shall become desolate, these are curses, for she has rebelled against her power, the Most High. They shall fall by the sword, their infants shall be dashed in pieces, and their women with child shall be ripped up. So, Christopher Columbus, here are the indigenous people. Christopher Columbus and his men, they said, could not annihilate, right? So this is telling you about Christopher Columbus, right? It says here, the Lucandas did not know it on October the 12th, 1492, that they did not know that their island in what would become the Bahamas had been spotted by Spanish explorers led by a Genoese man named Christopher Columbus. And they did not know that in less than 30 years, their islands would be empty from the coming genocide. So let's read an eyewitness account of what went down. Now it says here, it says, historians disagree on how the Taíno lived on Hispaniola, right? Which is what we know today as the Dominican Republic and Haiti, right? Or Cuba, I believe that is Hispaniola. At the time, right? With estimates ranging from 60,000 to 8 million Taínos and Arawak lived on the islands. The Lucanias were a branch of much larger Taíno who were part of an Arawak language group, right? So it says here, it says historians disagree on how many Taínos lived on the Hispaniola at the time, but they estimated between 60,000 and 8 million. Well, that's a massive, big discrepancy between 60,000 and 8 million. It's got to be closer to the 8 million mark, because you're not going to see 60,000 people and think they're 8 million. So it's got to be close to the 8 million mark that lived on the island of Hispaniola. All right? It says one contemporaneous account from Bartolomé de la Casa. If you can get this man's book, buy it and read it. He claimed, this guy was a priest, Bartolomé de la Casas, right? Bartolomé de las Casas. He was a priest. He claimed there were more than 3 million. More about Las Casas shortly, right? More than 3 million. This is what he claimed. So we're going to jump down to an eyewitness account. Hold on. Okay. All right. So it says here, Bartolomé de las Casas arrived in Hispaniola in 1502 when he was 18. For decades, he participated in the mistreatment of the Taíno and the introduction of enslaved Africans, which were Israelites, before renouncing it all. So he was all part of this murder and rampaging and killing that was going on for decades before he renounced it all, becoming a Dominican friar. So then he became a Dominican friar and confessing what he had witnessed in a short account of the destruction of the Indies. This is the book I'm telling you to get. It's by Bartolomé de las Casas. It's called The Destruction of the Indies. It's an eyewitness account of what happened to the Native American Indians, but he's specifically talking about the Taínos in Hispaniola, all right? Those that were living in Cuba, Dominican Republic, Jamaica, and those places, right? The Arawak Indians that lived in the West Indies. So this is an eyewitness account. Listen carefully. It says, it is worth quoting him at length. This is an excerpt, and it's very graphic. So this is an excerpt from his book, Destruction of the Indies, by Bartolomé de las Casas. This is an eyewitness of what went on, right, in those islands. It says here, the Spanish explorers forced their way into native settlements, slaughtering everyone they found there, including small children, all right? Including small children. Sorry. All right? They hacked them to including small children, old men, pregnant women, and even women who had just given birth. This is who they were massacring, right? They were slaughtering. They hacked them to pieces. They hacked them to pieces, slicing open their bellies with their swords, as though they were so many sheep, herded into a pen. They even laid wagers on whether they could slice a man in two at a stroke, or cut an individual's head from his body, or disembowel him with a single blow of their axes. They grabbed the suckling infants, babies that are still sucking on their mum's breasts, by the feet, and ripping them from their mother's breasts. There you go. Dashed them headlong against the rocks. Others were laughing and joking all the while, threw them over their shoulders, shouting, "Wriggle, you little perisher." This is what the devil did. Columbus and his men, these Europeans, did when they came to the Americas. Now, what did Hosea say is going to happen to the children of Israel, right? Moses said, the curses are going to follow thee. These curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee, which means follow you everywhere you go. What did Hosea say is going to happen to the children of Israel? In particularly the Northern Kingdom, which had what we know today as the Native American Indians of North, South America, and Canada. He said here, let me get it. I want to get this on 1 second. This is what we're going to do. Let's get this up so you can see it. Hosea. I'm going to go back to it. Hosea. I want to get this up on a big screen. This is what he said, right? This is what the prophet Hosea said. This is what the Lord told Hosea. Samaria, the Northern Kingdom, the Native American Indians of North, South America, and Canada, Mexicans, Latinos, Hispanics. This is what he said. Samaria shall become desolate, which happened. They were taken away by the king of Assyria. We read that in 2 Kings chapter 17. For she has rebelled against her power, because pure idolatry they were doing, and they still do today. She rebelled against the Most High. They shall what? They shall fall by the sword, he said. He said, their infants shall be dashed in pieces, and their women with child shall be ripped up. This is what he said, right? They shall fall by the sword. Their infants shall be dashed in pieces, and their women with child shall be ripped up. What happened to the Native American Indians? Let's read it again. This is an excerpt from Bartolomé de las Casas' book, an eyewitness. This was a friar, priest. He says, they, the Spanish explorers, Christopher Columbus and his crew, forced their way into the native settlements, slaughtering everyone they found there, including small children, old men, pregnant women, and even women who had what? Who had just given birth. What did they do? they hacked them to pieces, slicing open their bellies with swords as though there were so many sheep herded into a pen. What did Hosea say? Hosea said here, let me just bring this over here. He says, their infants shall be dashed in pieces, and their women shall what? With child, their pregnant women shall be ripped up. This is what Hosea said, this was going to happen to the northern kingdom. Moses said that these curses shall follow thee and overtake thee, come upon you and overtake you. These are part of the curses. Their women, their pregnant women, even their children who had given birth, they were hacked to pieces. Doing what? Slicing open their bellies with swords, their pregnant women, as though they were so many sheep herded into a pen. They what? They laid wages. Right? They even laid wages on whether they could slice a man in two or stroke or cut the individual's head from his body or disembowel him with single blows of their axes. There you go. They grabbed the suckling infants from the feet, by the feet, and ripping them from their mother's breasts, dashed them headlong against the rocks. What did Hosea said? Their infants shall be what? Shall be dashed in pieces. What happened to them? They grabbed the infants by the feet and ripping them from their mother's breasts and did what? Dashed them headlong against the rocks. He literally used the exact words of what the prophecy says. So even if we go into here, the Bibles, different Bibles, come on. Different Bible translations. Their infants shall be dashed in pieces, and their women with child ripped open. The New Living Testament. They will be killed by an invading army, Columbus, the Spaniards. Their little ones shall be dashed to death against the ground. Their pregnant women ripped open by swords. What did Bartolomé say? He said the Spanish, the invading army, forced their way into the native settlements, slaughtering everyone they found, including their small children, old men, pregnant women, and even women who had just given birth. They what? They hacked them to pieces, slicing open their bellies with their swords. What does Hosea say here? In all the translations, they will be killed by an invading army, their little ones dashed to death against the ground, their pregnant women ripped open by swords. The NIV, they will fall by the sword. Their little ones will be dashed to the ground, their pregnant women ripped open. ESV, they shall fall by the sword, their little ones shall be dashed in pieces, and their pregnant women ripped open. They're all saying the same thing that the King James is telling you. But in the exact same way that Bartolomé de las Casas wrote down, as if he was writing it directly from the Bible. Because it's Bible prophecy, what was going to happen to the northern kingdom. Their women that had given birth, their pregnant women, they were hacked to pieces. They sliced open their bellies with their swords, as though they sliced and opened their bellies with a sword, as though they were so many sheep herded together. They did what? They grabbed the infants by the feet, ripping them from their mother's breasts, dashed them headlong against the rocks. Others laughing and joking all the while, threw them over their shoulders, shouting, "Wriggle, you little perisher." This is what we're talking about. This is the devil we're telling you about. When we're telling you about these Edomites, that these are the wicked that the Bible speaks of, you better believe it. But he wrote this as if he wrote this directly from the Bible. But what he didn't know what he was writing was Bible prophecy. This was going to happen to our people. Why? Because of all the idolatry that they were doing, going back to the days of Shalmaneser, the King Hosea, when the Lord ripped them out of the land and put them into captivity. Goes all the way back. When Hosea was on the scene, he told them the same thing. The people of Samaria must bear their guilt because they have rebelled against their power, Yahweh. They will fall by the sword. Their little ones will be dashed to the ground. Their pregnant women ripped open. So when I see this, boy, this is why I said to you, it's like they haven't learned anything. But because they don't know who they are.
Inside their house was sucked up by the tornado. Everything but their statue of Nuestra Señora de Guadalupe, Our Lady of Guadalupe.
That's a miracle. She was there with us, taking care of us.
The community helped get the Valeros back on their...
And that's why that happened to her, and you're probably going to see another one here again. And this is why I believe, why I see all of these coming up to the Americas. These Latinos, I believe the majority of them are coming for a judgment. I truly, truly believe that. The majority of them is coming for a judgment because of their love for their idolatry, their idols. That's what I believe. The majority of them are coming, crossing the southern border for a judgment. Some for salvation, but I believe the majority for a judgment because of their love for their idols. But what happened to them, as I said, is Bible prophecy. When Bartolomé de las Casas wrote this, after spending a couple of decades being a part of this, he repented, he became a friar, still part of the wicked, but he wrote it in detail what was happening to them by the Spanish so-called explorers, which was their enemies. But they had to bear their guilt, just like it says there, Samaria shall bear her guilt because she has rebelled against her power. They shall fall by the sword, their little ones shall be dashed in pieces, and their pregnant women shall be ripped open, as we have seen. That is the Northern Kingdom. The Native American Indian tribes of North, South America, and Canada today, who they call Latinos, Hispanics, Mexicans, and Puerto Ricans. But they are still doing the same thing today. And now they sin more and more with idols according to their own understanding. I'm going to finish it there. So lucky I didn't get to those precepts, brother. I'm a what a bud, but all praises. As always, it's good to see you keep putting up those precepts because it's all about an edification for our people to learn what's going on, to truly learn what's going on, you know, and that. So, as always, I want to give all the praises and the glory to Yahweh Bar Shem, Yahweh Shai Bar Shem Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone who have been leading this word in truth and in spirit and sincerity. And salutations to my fellow Hebrew Israelite brothers out there who are teaching this word diligently in the name of Yahweh, the Father, Bahasham in the name, Yahweh Shai, the Son, Rakah Kodash, the Holy Spirit. All praises and glory, family. As I always say, keep safe, keep praying and hold on to this truth because we are the true children of Israel. We are the Israelites. And this is the devil that you're dealing with. The Spaniards are Edomites. These Portuguese are Edomites. Italians, these are all Europeans. They're Edomites. Whether they're from Denmark, England, they're all Edomites. United Kingdom, France, Germany, Spain, Portugal, Hungary, Czechoslovakia, Poland, Russia, they're all Edomites. And this is what these devils did when they came to the Americas. But it was prophesied in the Bible that these things were going to befall the children of Israel. You tell me these are not the children of Israel. Anyway, shalom, 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 family. All praises.